All truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. The doctor sees all the weakness of mankind, the lawyer all the wickedness, the theologian all the stupidity. Each day is a little life, every waking and rising a little birth, every fresh morning a little youth, every going to rest and sleep a little death. The more unintelligent a man is, the less mysterious existence seems to him. Men are by nature merely indifferent to one another, but women are by nature enemies. They tell us that suicide is the greatest piece of cowardice. That suicide is wrong, when it is quite obvious that there is nothing in the world to which every man has a more unassailable title than to his own life and person. Satisfaction consists in freedom from pain, which is the positive element of life. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Willpower is to the mind like a strong blind man who carries on his shoulders a lame man who can see. Wealth is like seawater, the more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. Great men are like eagles, and build their nest on some lofty solitude. With people of limited ability, modesty is merely honesty. But with those who possess great talent, it is hypocrisy. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. After your death you will be what you were before your birth. The first 40 years of life give us the text, the next 30 supply the commentary on it. Politeness is to human nature what warmth is to wax. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. Honor means that a man is not exceptional, fame, that he is. Fame is something which must be won, honor, only something which must not be lost. Treat a work of art like a prince, let it speak to you first. The wise have always said the same things, and fools, who are the majority, have always done just the opposite. Great minds are related to the brief span of time during which they live as great buildings are to a little square in which they stand. You cannot see them in all their magnitude because you are standing too close to them. A man's face as a rule says more, and more interesting things, than his mouth, for it is a compendium of everything his mouth will ever say, in that it is the monogram of all this man's thoughts and aspirations. It is a clear gain to sacrifice pleasure in order to avoid pain. The fundament upon which all our knowledge and learning rests is the inexplicable. To buy books would be a good thing if we also could buy the time to read them. The greatest achievements of the human mind are generally received with distrust. The man never feels the want of what it never occurs to him to ask for. To free a person from error is to give, and not to take away. The brain may be regarded as a kind of parasite of the organism, a pensioner, as it were, who dwells with the body. Patriotism, when it wants to make itself felt in the domain of learning, is a dirty fellow who should be thrown out of doors. Martyrdom is the only way a man can become famous without ability. The longer a man's fame is likely to last, the longer it will be in coming. As the biggest library, if it is in disorder, is not as useful as a small but well-arranged one, So you may accumulate a vast amount of knowledge, but it will be of far less value than a much smaller amount if you have not thought it over for yourself. Obstinacy is the result of the will forcing itself into the place of the intellect. Because people have no thoughts to deal in, they deal cards, and try and win one another's money. Idiots. For an author to write as he speaks is just as reprehensible as the opposite fault, to speak as he writes, for this gives a pedantic effect to what he says, and at the same time makes him hardly intelligible.